All right. Hey there. Good morning, everybody. Christopher Inks with Texas West Capital coming at you live here just a few minutes after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Friday, the 23rd of February, 2024. Again, coming at you live here from just north of Houston, Texas. Good to have you guys checking in. We're going to talk about some things today, some charts. Talk about the dollar. We'll talk about Bitcoin. We always talk about Bitcoin, right? We'll talk about, oh my gosh, what about Uni this morning? Uni really popping off, right? We posted that in our hot takes there for our group coaching students yesterday at like $7 and some change, $7.60 or something like that. And that thing popped up to $12 and a bit this morning already. Again, it's the ability to understand what the setup is versus just trying to chase a breakout, right? You don't want to try and chase pumps. You don't want to get in, inadvertently jumping in because that's going to lose you money. You want to learn how to identify those times at which it's come up. And that way you can get in before it and you let everybody else jump in afterward and do the work for you and pull you up. That's how you make money, guys. So we'll take a look at that chart here today. I believe it's just popping out of accumulation. So that looks good. Of course, we'll take a look at Ethereum and a few other things. Real quick, guys, do me a favor here. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button. Follow me wherever you're watching here, whether it's on Facebook at Texas West Capital, or on Twitch at Texas West Capital, or YouTube Texas West Capital, or even on Twitter or X there at TX West Capital. And that way, it helps me kind of get out there a bit more. If you appreciate what I do, if you think it's helpful, that would be a big help for me. Doesn't cost you anything, right? The other thing, real quick here, guys. So up until now, we've been offering for our group coaching, just the annual plan. We're going to release two other options a little bit later today, a 3-month and a 6-month plan. So if maybe a year was too long, you don't think maybe that you want a year, or maybe it's a bit, on the pricey side for you, you can get into the shorter term here, get everything we're doing, just, short a bit of time for less money. So be sure to check that out. Members.texaswestcapital.com. That's where you guys can get it. Okay. So anyway, let me see here. Matt's trades. What'd you say here? I wouldn't have believed you called Uni the day before it popped unless I'd seen it play out myself. Incredible call. Yeah. I usually don't try to get it in right before. I usually try to give some time, because our group coaching students are from all over the world, and not everybody checks in every day, and I usually try to give it at least a few days, if not longer, to set up before it pops out. That one just happened to be, one of those ones that kind of pops out there pretty quick and gets going. So we're doing absolutely amazing on hot takes, guys. I'll tell you what, the hot takes alone, if you follow our risk management system that we use, that we teach here at Texas West Capital, if you've got it, I would say probably if you've got an account of, I'll be really conservative here. If you've got an account of, say, $5,000, there should be little to no reason why you don't make that the annual cost of our group coaching back within the year. I mean, it should be more than that, quite a bit more actually, but there's no reason you shouldn't make that back at least, the way we teach risk management. And that means you're not taking a lot of risk. You're taking very, very little risk. Your reward outsizes your risk quite substantially. So anyway, just something for you guys to think about. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not here to coddle anybody's gambling addiction, okay? Most people that are out there trading right now in the markets, not just crypto, but stocks and whatever, especially day trading, it's all about gambling. It's about the rush. It's about trying to get in right before that thing pops. They have no patience. Their emotions are all over the place. I am not here to deal with that, guys. I'm here to teach you how to trade, teach you how you can become confident in your ability to understand the markets and how to trade them effectively. We give you the tools to do that with proper risk management and whatnot. So that way you can be in before the big pumps come. That way you can be in before price takes off. So you're not FOMOing in afterward like everybody else and hoping you lock in something, right? You've got ideas of what's going on and where price is headed. That's how you trade, guys. And all the time using proper risk management. I cannot say that enough. If you guys are out here in the markets, and this is going to hurt some of y'all, so buckle up, Buttercup, right? Honestly, if you're in the markets right now and you are not using proper risk management, I'm going to be honest with you, there's really little to no chance you're going to make it. I've never seen anybody stay in the markets 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30 years, whatnot, without using proper risk management. It is the end all be all to being a successful trader, guys. Because one trade can wipe you out. It's all it takes. I hope to God you guys understand that, all right? Let me see here. Stats, what's up, man? You made 4% this morning on gold based on what you learned from us? That's awesome, man. Glad to hear that. Match trades, what you say? I've made my subscription money back on single trades with TWC. Man, I love it that you guys, that you say that, because I can say it all day long, but at the end of the day, it's my company. People will be like, oh, you're just going to say whatever you're going to say to get people in. And when you really join in, if you really put your effort into it, you'll see that I'm there doing everything I possibly can to help you be successful. The only thing I can't do is I can't do it for you, right? So, yeah. Harlow says, I would imagine a ton just bought uni after the pop. I used to get wrecked like that before Jordan. Yeah, that's what usually happens, you know. And our goal, of course, as you know, you've been with us a bit, is to make sure that people, you know, can learn to get in before it does. Let everybody else be out there and be emotional and jump in there and do it for you, right? What's going on, Genghis Khan, man? Been following me for a while. Thanks for all your work. Man, I appreciate you jumping in, man. Good to see you here. Kimasabi, what's going on, Mace? Especially as volatility expands, you really need a stop loss strategy. You do. And you need something that's consistent and something that's logical and something that makes sense, that you don't have to overthink, that you don't have to apply differently every time, right? That's the goal there. That's the goal work. Let me see here. What's going on, Andrew? Man, I'll tell you what, guys. We'll get on the charts here in just a second. But, man, Andrew, I love Andrew, because Andrew's one of those guys that followed me like many of y'all are doing here on YouTube and whatever, and Twitter for a while, before he finally jumped in and joined us. And, man, oh, man, this cat, he just, man, he makes his charts are just crazy, guys. When you get in there, he posts so many charts. And this is one of the other benefits of being there. We have people who have been with us a while, and they always post all these great charts as well. So it's not only what are we doing in our weekly training sessions that we do 3 times a week, right? It's not only what are we posting in the hot takes. It's not what are we posting in the chart request, right? But it's also members like Andrew and others who are in there who are posting their charts and their thoughts in other channels as well, in other spaces that we have there as well. And just, I mean, if you're not making money at TWC, you just, I have to say, you're either just got there and you're just learning, or, you know, you're letting the emotions still come over you. And that's something that you have to work for, guys. Emotions don't magically disappear. Okay. So yeah. Let me see here. Kimasabi had been here a while, since 2018, before you got blocked. Oh man. Yeah. You guys remember that? Do you remember that? Holy crud, man. Right in the middle of a stream, YouTube just closed my account. Took months and months and months to come back. That's why my videos only go back so far now. I've been posting videos and doing live streams with YouTube since 2018. But that's why they only go back so far, because they, in the middle of a stream, they just shut me off. Took me months and months and months. And somebody was kind enough, a member was kind enough to get me in contact with somebody who works somewhere in YouTube, who was then able to get a hold of whoever works in the area they needed to get my account back. It was absolutely crazy. But that's why I simulstream now, simulcast here on all these different places, because I don't ever want that to happen with you guys again. So who all's here? Let's see here before we jump in there. I've got, you saw a few of them already. Sats, what's going on? Data's here. Matt's Trades is here. Frank, what's up, buddy? Zobia Dollars, my friend, is here as well. Who else we got here? Andrew Bennett. We got Sean Skizzle. What's up, man? Who else do we got? Higher Low is here. Genghis Khan, of course. Jonathan says, I'm having trouble joining on the site, not loading properly. Anyone else? What exactly, what problem are you, what do you mean it's not loading properly? I just pulled it up right here on a new browser, and it's loading up fine for me. Are you typing it correctly? Members.texaswestcapital.com. Capital is in money, not as in like the capital of the state. Let me know, man. And if you're still having trouble, man, send me an email, or if you follow me on Twitter, send me a DM there, or tag me if you can't get a DM through to me, or you can send me an email at christopher.inks@texaswestcapital.com, and I'll help you out there, man. New type trader, what's up? He says, do we typically see stock market all-time highs or rallies before recessions? Sure. Think about it. 2008. That's probably, I say that one because most people here, even if you're younger, you at least know that happened, right? .com bubble, people are kind of maybe. And I say 1987, they're like, what? But yeah, usually you're going to have the market working itself up to a frenzy before you do get that. Yeah. The thing to think about though is, remember, people have been saying for the last 2.5 years now that the end is coming. It's coming. And I was even one of those back then that was like, yeah, we should be having some big, I was concerned that we might be having some big, recession, potentially even depression coming. But then we didn't get it the last, before we started making new all-time highs here, the last one a few years back, we didn't get a blow off top. We didn't get what we would expect to see in this super cycle type ending. And so that's why, as we were pulling back, I said, I think we're just going to get an ABC here. And then we'll rally higher all-time highs. You guys remember that, right? Got laughed by a lot of people, but here we are, new all-time highs, right? So yeah, that happens. But the question is, how far does it go before that finally happens? That's the thing. And this is why I teach, charts and reading and understanding of markets and how and why they move the way they do, so that you have a better understanding, because it's a lot easier to look for potential tops and bottoms with the charts than it is with fundamentals. The numbers you always get with fundamentals are lagging. They're always lagging, and so, these things could go on for a while, which again, everybody swears it should have had this big recession. We should already be in a big recession for years now. Because the numbers have been so bad, and this and that, and yield curve inversion and all this stuff. And yet here we are still, right? So, the market, as they say, the market can stay kind of, it can continue rallying higher before you're, until you go insolvent, basically, right? The market can continue going. It can continue seeming like it's doing something it shouldn't be doing. So don't bet against the market, guys. Don't bet against the market. Just trade with the market. But you have to understand what to look for as far as what may be coming into a reversal, because that's where everybody gets caught, right? Everybody likes to buy the tops. Then they're convinced when everything's crazy and it's just flying and prices just rallying strong and it's new all-time high, new all-time whatever, and doing that. That's when people get excited, and then they can't hold their emotions. That's when they jump in. They get that FOMO, fear of missing out, right? Because they missed out on all the other way coming up, and now that it's really moving, they're scared they're going to miss out more. And that's why retail generally tends to they're pretty consistent in buying the top and selling the bottoms, right? They get scared at the bottom, keep selling, even though it's getting sucked up at their bottom. Okay. What's going on, Revy? Good to see you here. Oh, Jonathan, just use your error. Okay, man. Okay, no problem. Soren, what's up, man? Brian Riley's here. Hasta la vista, Barbie. Hello there. Matt Straight says, there we go. The market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. I have trouble with English sometimes. So, yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and jump on here, guys, and see where I was. So first thing I want to talk about is NVIDIA, right? So NVIDIA goes crazy. We get the pullback. I had said prior to that pullback, as we were getting up there, that point before we had the pullback and then the earnings release, I had said I was looking for NVIDIA to probably hit, 1,000, at least 1,000 before we actually got any real kind of pullback. And so what ends up happening here with NVIDIA, let me see if I can find my NVIDIA chart here. Yeah, I'm going to put this back out here to the daily. All right. And we're going to pull this up in a minute here. I got to change my screens, and I got to get back to some other screens. I want to show you some stuff. Oh, let me see here. Man, I hope you guys are doing great today. I really do. It's Friday. It's a busy day for me, but it's Friday, guys, right? Finally Friday. Okay. Anyway, what's going on, Mr. Michael Johnson? Good to see you, man. So here is NVIDIA, and this is the pullback, right? Now, when we were up here doing this thing, I said I still expect us to get probably about $1,000 or so before we actually got a real pullback, right? Now, if y'all follow me, oh geez, I guess Scott's show was yesterday, wasn't it? Usually it's Wednesdays. But yesterday, because what happened was we had this pullback, right? So we get rejected the R2 pivot here on the daily, right? And then we drop back here to the R1 pivot. And that's when you get those absolutely knockout kind of beating. I mean, the estimates were just absolutely ridiculous, right? As it was. NVIDIA just really just ripping the world a new one with this. So then you get this huge rally back up yesterday, right? I was big, like, was this 12 or 16% rally here? But yesterday I was talking to Scott earlier morning, talking about what I expected, and I said, okay, well, based on this being a 3 and a 4, we have a 5 of 3 minimum expected target up here at around $801.75. As you can see, we kind of went out a bit higher here. And so now the goal is to see, okay, does that do it? Are we overextending a bit, or are we going to pull back? If we can pull back from where we're at here, right here, that gives us a minimum expected 655 area. I like that. It gets us right back here at the previous resistance support. It's right here at this low volume node. I like the target. It doesn't mean we can't go a little bit higher and come back. If we do go up a bit higher, I'll be looking for this R3 pivot here on the daily, which is up here at around $838, $840. But that still gets us a pullback down here toward about $655, $656 initial target. Now, secondary target's always the 50% on a fourth wave, which would get us around 610, and that gets us kind of into this junk here, and that's okay. A little bit of a volume shelf there. But initially, I would look for that. So right now, I'm just watching to see, do we get this pullback here? But as you can see, that's just, 3 and 4, and we still have a 5 to go. And so if we were to go, say from where we are and pull back there, that gives us 955.43, right? 955.43 of this. Look at this. Look at this big old move here. Look at that, right? And so that gets us up there toward that $1,000 area. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if we get a bit further push here or not. Like I said, if we do, look up here maybe about that 838, 840 area initially, and looking for a rejection to kind of pull us back down toward that 655. But here's the thing. So NVIDIA rips, right? And everybody goes higher because it was so kind of silly. I don't know that I can remember anything kind of, I've been doing this for almost 30 years. I can't remember anything that was really kind of as crazy as CNBC having their countdown, almost like a New Year's Eve type countdown for the NVIDIA earnings, right? But the idea is NVIDIA goes up, NVIDIA looks strong, and that continues, rallying with tech. Anything that probably has the letters A and I in its name went up. But basically anything AI related, other chip manufacturers, stuff like that. If you're in crypto, of course, you have your AI deemed coins that kind of popped up with that as well. So, kind of just lifts the whole market up there. So with that happening, does that mean that Bitcoin now rallies higher? Let me see here real quick. Here, I got a question. It says, Genghis Khan asked me, how do you feel with those close to you who don't get into the market, but make you feel guilty for not giving when you took all the risk? I don't feel anything at all for him, honestly. Listen, guys, it's the other way here. It's the other thing, right? I want you guys to be successful as traders because I'm getting such a small group of people, right? That if you all are at least as successful for me, and hopefully even better, it's not going to affect how well I do, right? There's just between us, we don't have that much money to do this, right? So, but by that same token, you're getting into a market, right? You're getting into something where you need to understand the risk, right? I mean, you can't get in here and go, oh, so-and-so stole my money. Wall Street manipulated me. Crypto whale stole my money. It's, what? Leave that attitude. If that's your attitude, you guys do not need to be in trading. I'm going to tell you right now. Because trading means that you have to be able to depend on yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You cannot be a successful trader without it. So, as much as I want you guys to be successful, I don't for a second feel bad if you take the other side of a trade in which I do well on. We're in a market. It doesn't make me feel any different about you. If it makes you feel different about me, then you got issues, right? So, friends, family, stuff like that. If they don't get into the market, I don't think that it's been a long time since anybody close to me has ever tried to, tried to pull that kind of thing. But, if they did, no, I wouldn't feel bad about it at all. Listen, guys, the money's going to be made. And here's the other thing. People are like, oh, but you're just making all the other problems in the world worse by no, you know what? This stuff's going to happen with or without me involved. Nobody in this world cares more about me and my family than me. Nobody in this world is going to try and help my family more than me. So you're damn right, I'm going to take advantage of whatever skills I have to make sure that my family's taken care of. And you should feel the same way. Don't let anybody make you feel bad for coming in and doing well in a trade and doing well consistently in trades. The society generally is about complaining. It's a victim mentality, and government keeps pushing it to be like, oh yeah, that's fine. You can act that way. No, you can't act that way. Don't act that way. You're diminishing what you can do. Why would you do that? Don't do that. Life is too short anyway. Get in there, figure out how to take care of your family, and do it to the greatest degree that you possibly can. It's period. End of sentence. That's it, guys. Okay? You cannot change how somebody else feels about something. Their feelings are theirs. Right, wrong, or otherwise, their feeling are theirs. So you can't take responsibility for the way that someone reacts. Okay, guys? Does that make sense? And, and I take a few minutes here on this. I think it's absolutely a great question. I'm glad you asked it because you can get that. You will get that at times. People are going to be jealous. Let them be jealous. That's on them. Life is what it is. We all pick and choose what we're going to do. Okay? Michael John says, that's a realization I had a few years back. The market is the market, and my participation is peanuts. So if you can't beat them, join them. That's exactly it. Because I'll tell you what, nobody else is going to care or try as much to take care of you and your family as you are, but everybody else is sure going to try to make it difficult. That's for damn sure, okay? All right. So, so NVIDIA does it. NVIDIA does the thing. Everybody trying to be short on it, right? Everybody was trying to be short on NVIDIA. Everybody's giving you reasons why it had to go down, right? Now, remember, all those reasons they're giving you for why it had to go down are all emotional, right? You see that big, that big kind of the rally here? You see that big rally? And everybody goes, oh, yeah, it's been going up so strong and it, has all this other rally and all this. And, oh, it has to go down. The price is getting so high. We haven't had a real strong pullback. It has to go down. When you guys feel yourselves doing that, understand that's emotion. You're gonna try and lie to yourself. You say, oh, no, it's only logical. The markets are not logical. They are emotional. Take your logic, shove it up your rear end, right? I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. And I think this is where a lot of traders try and get caught because they're getting up there and they're being as emotional as everybody else in it. But they're trying to say, oh, no, but I'm being logical. It's gone up this far. It needs to pull back. Guess what, guys? When you do Elliott wave, when you learn Elliott wave, wave 3, the third wave, has an initial target of 1.618 times the height of wave 1. Initial. Minimally expected. If it goes beyond there, we look at the 2.0, the 2.618, the 3.618, the 4.618. Okay? We don't say, oh, wave 3 has to go to 1.618 and anything over that doesn't make sense. No, we say initially, minimally, this is where we expect it to go as a guideline. And if it goes higher, here are other targets. So what it does is it helps us, hopefully, to remain, to keep from being emotional. We understand that third wave extensions can get out of hand. They can get crazy as the market gets in. But most people, they'll go, oh, it's been going up. It's been going up. Same thing with Bitcoin. Oh, it's got to pull back. It's got to pull back. We haven't seen a 40% correction. It's got to pull back. Well, we don't have to see, but we always have. But just because we always have doesn't mean we are always going to. The structure, the height we've reached this pre-halving is all different. Heck, the top of the structure was different. Basically a double top, right? Was different than what we've had any time previously. So why are you telling me that we have to do this pullback thing right now? I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm saying when you're coming in there saying, hey, listen, it has to, in spite of everything basically being different from the top to the bottom and the rally since, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? But we don't tend to think that way. We tend to get all up in our emotions. We just talk and we just go with our emotions. It's part of being human. But as a trader, you have to recognize that so you don't get caught up in it, right? Genghis says a lot of people think trading is taking the easy way out. Shake my head. Yeah, no. Trading is simple. It's not easy. And it's not easy precisely because of our emotions. We are our own worst enemy. If you're losing in a trade, it's because of you. It's not anybody else. It is not anything else. It isn't Wall Street manipulating you. It isn't crypto whales, whatever, stealing your money. It's because you don't understand how to play the game properly. That's what it is. And your emotions are leading you. Okay, guys? So, let me kind of get off. So there's kind of what we're seeing with NVIDIA, right? And we say, okay, well, if that's happening with NVIDIA here, then let's pull up this. Let's start talking about some Bitcoin. Because I've talked about a secondary account that I was looking at, which gives us, instead of a 1, 2, 1, 2, it gives us a 1, 2, 3. And that 3 minimum expected target is around 77,000. What's up, T-Shroom? The man does my my thumbnails, guys. So yeah, check it out. Let me kind of pull this up here real quick. Let me see. Okay. So, I got to pull this up. Get up there. There we go. Okay. So we talk about, and I'll talk about the structure in a minute here, but here's why this is important. Okay. So I don't know if you can really read this. I can't really get it in any stronger here, right? But what it says is Bitcoin miners have been the most aggressive sellers in 2024. I've talked about this before because even when the ETFs launched, so we were getting the outflows from GBTC, but we were also getting the miners selling. Okay, guys? It says likely the main cause of sell pressure since the ETF launch. The good news is that their wallet balances are approaching historical lows now. So we should see this selling abating soon and see them accumulating coins again. So here's one chart here, Bitcoin miner net position change, as you can see. And then, of course, the balance in the miners' wallets dropping off drastically. But what's going on with price up here? It's just sitting there. Think about what I just said, guys. All this selling, look at all this miner selling, price continues to rally. Up in this area here, we're starting to get the outflows from GBTC along with this the miner selling, and we're still sitting up here, right? Now, it doesn't mean we can't pull back a little bit low, a little bit first. But what I'm trying to say is we have all this significant selling going on. And what's going on with price? It's not going anywhere. So there's the first thing, okay? The second thing is now they posted, this is from Ki Young Ju. I'm probably going to screw up his name here, but he's the founder over there at Crypto Quant, okay? Now he put 700,000 Bitcoin has moved to OTC desk used by miners over the past 3 weeks following the Bitcoin ETF approval. Again, I think that's probably 70,000. I do not think he means, hey, $35 billion, because if you think about 600 is what, 600 new coins a day or something printed, right? Minted. And so what does that mean? That means you'd be looking at 600 a day, 6,000 10 days. So what is that? 18,000 in a month, basically, right? So if you had 700,000, you'd have to be accumulating for how long? How many years? So it doesn't make a lot of sense. 70,000 though, maybe, okay? But here's this chart right here. But again, here's my thing. My whole thing was, hey, listen, you've got all this Bitcoin being sold, right? But price is continuing to remain where it is. So let's pull up the chart now. Whoops. Let me see here. Sometimes I act like I've never done this before. Let me see here. Go back to our NVDA chart, and then let's change that here. Let me pull that up for you. For our Bitcoin chart. Here we go. So here's the thing. Hey, Brian, better late than never, buddy. Okay. So as we're talking about all this selling kind of going in here, right? And prices still going up. We're saying we're still here. Now, here's the thing. We're at this R1 pivot here on the weekly, right? But we're also in this large ascending channel resistance all the way from down here around the bear market swing low. When you have this 1-2 channel like this, 1-2, wave 3 usually breaks out. When you get and so if you think about it, you expect to be an impulsive breakout because it's, first of all, it's wave 3. Second of all, it's significant resistance, right? So I start looking at this idea that, much more closely now, that maybe this is a 1 and a 2. And this gets us a 3 up here. Minimum expected 77,000. Secondary target. Remember what I told you about secondary targets? They're the 200% of wave 1, right? Because you have the 161.8, the 1.618 extension, 161.8% is initial wave 3. Secondary target is that 200%, which is right around $100,000. So I'm watching here going, man, we're sucking up. All that stuff is being accumulated. By the way, there was another chart out there, and I couldn't find it real quick here before the show, but they were showing that net new addresses for Bitcoin. So these are addresses where Bitcoin is flowing into and has not flown out of, wallet addresses. Anyway, they've exploded, right? So the ideal is it's being accumulated. It's being accumulated at this time, okay? So if all that happened, what do you think happens when that miner supply runs out? We know that GBTC is really kind of trickling in now, right? So you've got ETF demand, and we're only a month in, guys. Barely anybody has put, really at the end of the day, of those of means, so you think about family offices, you can think about corporate treasuries, stuff like that, right? Of means to buy significant Bitcoin, most of those are not yet. A lot of these, it's going to be like summer. You've got these, what do you call them? Okay, what the word is at the moment. Sorry, guys, brain fell asleep there. Advisors. Oh my gosh, geez, always. There we go. So a lot of these advisors need to do their due diligence, which is usually like a 90-day period to make sure that the ETF doesn't die, right? Before they really offer it to their people. So you've got a big swath of of advisors that aren't even advising their clients yet to get in, right? So there is a significant bit of money just sitting there, just in the US alone, right? Waiting to potentially get in. And these are huge, like I said, got huge swaths of wealth. And if all they have to do, 1 to 3%, maybe 5%, right? Which is nothing for them that's going to really compromise their portfolio in terms of if it didn't work out. But the upside is huge in relation to that, right? The risk is very little compared to the potential reward. So when you look at all that and you look that the supply increase is going to have, here in about 2 months, right? It doesn't mean what supply we have now is going to have. It just means the future supply is halved, right? So you're going into a situation where the amount of new Bitcoin coming in is going to be half of what it's been the last few years, right? On top of that, you have ETF demand. On top of that, which is, again, with a lot of these big money, right? You have corporate treasury with the new accounting laws, right? Fair value accounting. So you got Reddit saying the other day that they hold Somatic now and Bitcoin and whatnot, right? So you got these companies that can now start pulling it into their treasuries, like MicroStrategy's been doing. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of potential money to move its way into here. And we're holding up right here as all this selling that it is right now going on. What happens here when the selling starts subsiding and that demand is still there? Price pops. So I again, until it happens, I'm still looking at the 1-2-1-2 idea, maybe 57,000 kind of area. But I'm very much aware of this possibility and watching to see what happens here, to see if we don't get that rally up to maybe 77. Because what's going to happen then is everybody that's kind of scared and worried and looking for that 40% pullback before they enter, what's going to happen to them as price starts leaving them behind? They're going to jump in at some point, maybe it's the all-time high, and all of a sudden that propels price even further, right? This is how price action works. This is how it works. So I don't say all this to give you FOMO or anything like that. I say this as, looking at the reality of the situation, right? Now, if it does pull back from here, I'm looking down here at around, 40,000 or something, I think is probably a good initial target. I would be hard pressed to believe that we go below the weekly pivot here. With the structure that we have right here, usually if you're going to get rejection R1, it's just going to come back to the bottom of this structure, mid or bottom of this structure, and then it's going to go up higher. Most of the time, that's what you're going to get. Rarely does it drop down to the pivot and then go up. Unless this structure was around the pivot, then it would drop to the pivot, but it's not, it's here. So if we do get it there. Now, here's the thing. If we get this sudden breakout and it rallies impulsively up here toward that R2 pivot, up there around that 63 kind of thousand area. Well, now everything else aside, the way that I've noticed that pivots work and something that I teach is that when you get this sideways movement between the pivot and the R1, and then you aggressively move into that R2, most of the time you're going to rally through the R5 at least. Now, it doesn't mean it happens all right then in one day, but these are the pivots are on the weekly, so they're the yearly. They change every year. So by the end of the year, the odds would be that we would see it at least up here around 117.5. And again, that's not emotion. That's not Elliott wave counts. It's nothing other than what I've learned. If you're just trading pivots, what I've learned about this particular structure, the way it's moved in sideways here, R1, if you get that impulsive rally up to that R2, usually, overall, it's going to go. Now, it doesn't mean you can't hit the R2 and pull back to the R1 and go. But this movement, without pulling back to the structure here or down the pivot, just continuing to push up there, is most of the time going to get you through that R5 pivot. So, again, nothing I'm talking about here, guys, is anything to get you FOMO or anything else. It's just an explanation of the way of this way that price action tends to work within these certain circumstances. When you're looking at this ascending channel, when you're looking at the pivots and the movement into them like that, stuff like that. Salubrious Scratch, what's going on? Good to see you. Nikki, good to see you as well. Let's see here. Andrew says, what'd you say, Andrew? I almost posted on TWC about the channel structure build up on Square. Daily broke the pivot yesterday before market close. It popped today. Usually Andrew puts those in there. Occasionally he doesn't get around to it, but yeah, again, lots of great charts. Bar members in there as well. Sats letting us know here, financial advisors can't even sell the Bitcoin ETFs yet. They can place orders for unsolicited requests to buy Bitcoin, but they can't solicit it yet. So basically what it means is you can go to your financial advisor, you go, hey, listen, I want to get into the Bitcoin ETF. They can't say, hey, listen, Matt, Brian, hey, listen, guys, we got the Bitcoin ETFs out here. You should get into it. They can't do that. But you can come over and say, listen, now, they don't have to allow you access to it. But if they're going to, as Sats is mentioning here, that's what they have to do. Sats, I think you used to be a financial advisor, right? I think so. So anyway, so that's kind of what we're looking at here, guys. This is the big thing. Okay, this is the big thing. Now, if let me find out, where is my chart? Oh, no. Let me find it here. My uni chart, guys. Let's talk about uni. Let's see if I can find it here real quick. You have to give me a minute because I have to pull it here from a different set of charts here. And let me find it again. What did I do with it? Sure, it's going to be like the fourth one I look at. Yep, sure enough. Okay. So let me pull this up here. Uni. Look at that, guys. Look at this. This is the weekly here for uni, okay? Turn on the air conditioner here a bit. Maybe. Give me just 1 second. There we go. All right. This is uni, guys. So I posted it here around the $7 mark, right around this area right here is when I posted the chart. It wasn't even on the breakout. It was here, right? Now, if you zoom in, it's a little bit closer to the to its own kind of breakout here, right? But this is where we posted yesterday, and this was today. So from $7.50 or 60 somewhat cents up to what was it, around $12.50 up there? $12.63. So yeah, great move here. And again, we didn't have to get this breakout here. I posted it over here, which ends up leading up to this breakout. But here's the big picture, right? The big picture is this is accumulation, guys. From down here in June of 22 until now. The expectation, we're going to see some more follow through here. This is going to be a jump across the creek, which defines when the end of accumulation is. We'll probably get a back up the edge of the creek, which is just a pull back to the resistance as support, and then we'll get a rally up higher. But this is accumulation, guys. This is done. So uni has been accumulating since June of 22. June of 22, guys. This whole thing here. Over a year and a half. This is going to be a good move out of it. I see little reason to think we won't test the all-time high at least. Based on that length of accumulation. I didn't put together a point and figure chart, but yeah, based on that length of accumulation there. And look, there was so much demand versus supply in this area right here. You couldn't even get a proper pullback. You couldn't get a spring. Just the last point of support. So you come down and you go, okay, what is your selling climax? Automatic rally. Last point of support. Show of strength. Last point of support. Show of strength. Last point of support. And then you're getting this breakout here, which gives us the jump across the creek into a show of strength. Pull back down into your back of the edge of the creek, most likely. And then we'll just continue rallying up at least to the all-time high there, guys. So it was a great setup. T-Shroom says, Uniswap is mental, man. Did not have any in my bags. Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of these that if they haven't broken out of their accumulation structures yet, they're probably pretty close to doing so. But, again, this is what we teach, right? This is what we teach in Texas West Capital. We teach you how to understand these structures. We go in depth, and then, there's always the way you learn. There's always the theory and how you do things. And then there's actually the application, which oftentimes is a bit different, right? But you have to understand the theory so you have a grounding, a basis in which to get to the point that you can do it the way it's normally done. And that's why we do our live streams every week. We do an hour-long Wyckoff session on Mondays, hour-long price action session on Wednesdays, and an hour-long Elliott Wave session on Thursdays. Because the idea of that is to take you from the coursework that you have, the course videos that you have, where it teaches you all that theory and how things are and the labels and the guidelines and the rules and the phases, and depends on whatever you're learning, right? Elliott Wave or Wyckoff or price action or whatever. which we always use, seems like pretty damn perfect charts, right? Because we're trying to teach you all these concepts that you need to understand. But when you get into the real world, the charts are rarely looking that good. They're usually looking a lot different. And what I noticed as I learned to trade is that there was a lot of difficulty at first trying to move from that theory into that application because the charts did look different. So that's what we do every week when you're in TWC. That's what we do and it's recorded. You can watch it whenever you want, as many times as you want. And it's another opportunity for us to find charts as well, because we do it to live charts. I just pull up a live chart and I say, okay, let's look at this. Let's talk about it. So you get, again, you get hot takes, you get chart requests, you get the daily updates that we do. I think we do about 20 charts a day that we update across futures and crypto and Forex. And then, of course, again, we have the charts that we do in each of our weekly sessions. And then we have the charts like people like Andrew and others bring up there. So, yeah, a lot of opportunities, really a lot of opportunities. But, man, when you get in, guys, you got to go through the Trading Foundations course. The second module is risk management. You absolutely need to get that down because that's going to change your entire trading life if you do it. I'll tell you right now. Yes, I charted BTC already. Yes, sir. Does File still have the $26 target, or was that invalidated? Oh, no, that was not invalidated. Yeah, again, guys, my chart, when I put that stuff up there, it was a weekly chart. It was based on the Elliott wave count 1, 2. As long as that wave 2 held, that wave 3 had that target at least. So, yeah, I'm looking at least $26. Probably closer to $30 or higher. Yeah, yeah. By the way, File rallying back up here recently, hitting that point, right? If you guys were following me, there's some idiot that was trolling on mine. Oh, I lost money, blah, blah. You look at his timeline, that idiot was been bad-mouthing File for the last, 3 months. He's such a liar. But if you did lose money on it, then you weren't paying attention to the analysis anyway, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. See, here's the thing. We talked about this earlier, right? Should I feel bad if you don't know what you're doing when you're reading analysis, or you don't know how to do proper risk management and you lose money? No. Why would I feel bad about that? I didn't tell you to take the trade, but the analysis was pretty clear about what I was talking about and the time frame shown. So, I mean, yeah, it sucks that you lost money, but if you're losing money because you're not paying attention or you don't understand how to read the analysis or you don't know how to use proper risk management, that is 100% on you guys, which means what? It means any trade you take is 100% your responsibility. And guess what? If it works out and it goes to whatever target I said and you got in the trade, you made it work, I don't get to claim that for you. That is yours. You get to claim the yay. You get to claim the success, just like you're also required to claim when you're not successful. But that's not just trading, that's life, guys. I sit here and I talk about trading all the time and how everything that I talk about in trading is applicable to the rest of your life. And everybody says, well, what do you hope is the one thing we learn more than anything? Honestly, I hope the one thing you learn more than anything from me is that life is completely up to you. No matter what your circumstances are, no matter what you were born into or what you're dealing with today, your future is your own. If you choose to believe that you can achieve the things that you want to achieve, you're going to get them. Or even if you don't get them, you're going to get so much further ahead than you are right now. It won't even be an issue that you didn't get to that very exact spot you wanted to get to. But we're taught in society, especially in Western society, that everything is everybody else's fault. It's everybody else's problem. We don't have to take responsibility. Unless it comes to your taxes, then you have to take responsibility according to the government. But everything else that happens to you is everybody else's fault, right? But hey, give more to the government so the government can protect you more and make life better, right? No, come on, guys. You can do what you put your mind to. There's that old adage, if you can conceive it, you can achieve it. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you are correct. So if there's one thing at the end of the day, however long you do or don't follow me and listen to me and what things I have to say, right? I appreciate that you do. But at the time you decide you no longer would like to listen and follow along, I hope that that at least is what you get out of it. Trading aside, everything else aside, I hope that is, because that right there, if you really accept that, you really do that, your life is going to be so much better than you can possibly imagine. But it's hard sometimes to see that possibility when life's kind of dumping on you. It's hard. But that's where you get the, are you consistent? Do you follow through? Do you have focus, discipline, consistency, patience? Those same things that were required to be successful as a trader are required to be successful in any other thing you do in life, just in life in general. Happiness comes from accomplishment. Okay? All right, guys. I had to get that up because I'm telling you guys, at the end of the day, that is the most important thing I teach while teaching everything else that I teach. So, and I'm not making any bones about it. That's what it's up. Okay, guys. All right. Let me see here. Let me kind of catch up with you guys. Okay. So again, I think we're looking great here. Accumulation looks done. I didn't go in here and label it all off here. I just want you guys to get the idea that this is accumulation. Generally speaking, volume drop off into the low, volume expansion into the highs and the breakout. Large candle right here, large spike of volume. Can't see the volume, unfortunately, right there. But there's large volume there. There's large candle spread, usually indicative of what we call jump across the creek, which is just basically your breakout above that resistance area, the creek, which is the supply. So you need the big break to get through supply, right? The supply has been holding it down, holding it down, holding it down. You need that big, huge push of demand to push through it. So again, I think all-time high is a pretty easy target. Get you up there right around, what, 50, 60 bucks up here. And then I think you're higher. I think you're higher overall. Make your money in Uni to buy more Bitcoin. That's what it's all about, right? S2F2 says, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Yeah. The scariest words ever uttered, right? Mike Lamb, what's up, buddy? He says, yeah, the victim mentality is pretty negative and unhealthy. For sure, for sure. All right, guys. So real quick, let's get some of the charts I had real quick. And then we'll check out maybe a few others here. Let me see here. This is probably the easiest chart to look at here. Yeah, so this is the DXY. I've got a 5 here, and then I've got an A, B, C. And then I've got 1, 2 is a flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like a 3. A, B, C is a 4 potentially. Right below wave 2 here. Or I'm sorry, wave 1 here. Of 3, right? So looking for a breakdown further. So where does that mean? Well, if I look at this, again, the idea that we have a, well, let me just go ahead and draw it on here real quick. Looking at an A, a B, and a C. And then looking at 1, and then A, B, C, 2 is a flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, and then potentially 4. And I'll say that 5 is probably going to be right there. All right. If we look at this rally up here on this wave 4, it's a pretty big rally there. It's 65%. So we really kind of need to see this kind of coming down from here. But again, this looks like a pretty clear ABC here. So, you know, again, if it continues to break out higher, we'll look up here around the R1 pivot on the weekly here, right around 100 and almost 106. That would be my next target area. But if we're breaking back down through the pivot here, I think we should come on down. Based on the height of wave 4, that'll give us a wave 5 target perfectly right down here around 98 at the S1 pivot. And then the idea from that is that would then give us wave 1, and wave 2 would rally back up. And as you can see, the pivot is going to be the 50% retracement. So the idea is we should get a 5 down here, and then that'll give us a 1 and a 2, and then 3 coming down further. And the dollar just continues to weaken down toward that $70 area, or the 70-point area that I've talked about so many times before. Okay? So that's why I'm looking for the DXY there, which, again, if the DXY is rolling off there, that means that we're probably going to get more and more printing of dollars. Most likely, if that's what happens there, and people kind of they're moving away from the dollar, moving away from safety into more riskier things, right? And so that would then keep, stocks, generally speaking, Bitcoin rallying higher. Ethereum here. Let's pull this chart over here. It's clean. So just looking for some sideways here and looking for a breakout. I've got a couple of targets. 31.34. If we keep going through that, 33.14 and a half or so. If we keep going through that, 35.47. Ultimately, though, we kind of zoom out here a bit. This is the weekly, right? Ultimately, right now I've got this as a 1, 2, 1, 2. Looking for a wave circle 3 up here at about 46.26. Right now that's the count here. I may change it up as time moves on, but ultimately there's no reason in my mind that we shouldn't break out above the all-time highs. I don't see any reason we should not. And so that's what I would be looking for on that. Okay. Let me see here. Let me kind of catch up here. Oh, I think somebody was looking for a Tesla chart, right? Let me see if I can find my Tesla chart, guys. Give me just a moment. I'll find it. I'll find it in all this stuff. I'll find it. All right. There it is. Tesla. So this is kind of what I'm looking at with Tesla. Right now, I think we have a 1-2-1-2 here. We've got a 78.6 pullback. We're basically filling the gap from over here. It's not like a perfect inverse head and shoulders or anything, but basically the concept is there, right? The concept is there, which is that we've got, let me kind of make this a little bit thicker here, maybe for you guys to see better. Is you have kind of this resistance right here that it gets retested as support. And I think we rally higher here. And for me, what am I looking for? If this count is to be correct here, we need a breakout above wave B up here at about 265.13 to suggest that wave 2 is likely complete, and wave 3 is in progress to a minimum expected target of 523. Breaking out above wave X at 278.98 will add confidence to the count. Okay. If we break back down here, though, even though wave 2 could still be playing out as long as it stays above 152.37, if we're breaking down lower here, I think we'll probably be looking at a new breakdown here, and in which case we'll have to take another look at what's going on with this count maybe in this area. Okay. But ultimately, we've got basically a 3-wave move down off the all-time high. So in that case, breaking out above this 313.80 is going to confirm that this is corrective here, and we're looking for ultimately for a higher move out, new all-time highs coming in on that. Does that make sense? What are my current thoughts on Sol? Been slowly bleeding since the fierce rally from 77 to 120. Well, like you said, fierce rally from 77 to 120. I think Sol pops out higher. I think it continues going higher on that. I don't know. I got me a chart at the moment here. Give me a minute. Let me see. Let me see here. Is that it? Give me a minute, guys. Loading up here. Okay. Yeah. Let me pull this back over to my other set of tabs here. There we go. So yeah, again, we talked about uni and the big move we expect after the, long time accumulation. Well, here was Sol, long time accumulation, big move out, right? Right here, the best thing I can tell you is you've got a 3-wave pullback to the pivot. Stochc RSI has bottomed out and oversold. RSI is right around neutral. I would be looking for a rally up from here. Based on this being a wave 4, if I'm correct on this being a wave 4, wave 5 should at least, wave 5 of 503 should at least reach 170. Let me see here. Yeah, should at least reach around that 170. But again, that would just be of 3. So then you get a 4 and then you get a 5 pushing out higher. So ultimately, over 200, I think, is where we're headed right now. Let me see here. Where's the swing low here? I got to figure out where the swing low is on this real quick. 93.11, 92.88. So it's right there. Okay. So yeah, it's possible this could be. Let's pull us back here. It's just such a short pullback, but maybe it's a 1-2 and then 1-2 here with another deep pullback. Potentially a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means the pullback here about where we're at is around 50%. So if this is 5 waves up and this is 3 back here, that would actually extend us up higher, I believe. Yeah, they would actually get us around 220 for this 5 of 3 target. So this might be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of thing here. But this is 3 waves back right now. So as long as it stays above that swing low right there, 93, 92-ish dollars, it rallies back up. I mean, you should minimally measure out the height there. The 1618 gets you up to minimally $133. But again, I think overall it goes higher off that. The only other possibility that we could be seeing on something like this, and I don't think, just because this is so short right here, actually, you know what? I was going to say maybe like a ABC down, ABC up, or even a triangle forming here, but that would make this so big in comparison to wave 2 that doesn't make a lot of sense. But let me see here. It's been a while since I looked at this chart. Let me check this out here. It's a pretty sharp pullback there. I almost wonder if maybe this is 1, 2, and this is 3, 4, and this is 5. Maybe like A, B, C, D, E is a triangle here. And that gives us 5, and that gives us a 1, 2. So that would then have a target actually 5 waves up. Would give us a target up here, even around 478. So I'm going to see what happens in here right now, but potentially even that big move up there. I'm just going to have to go back and count this. I don't have time to do it live right now, but I'm going to go back and do that, and then I'll share it with you guys again, maybe next week. We're off here. Let's see here. Market is scared of FTX selling Sol that's being held or something like that. Just heard rumors, not actually trading off it. Yeah. Market's always scared of something, right? They've been scared of Mt. Gox selling off Bitcoin for as long as I've been in. So 2017. But well, I guess about that. They started talking about that, right? It's been crazy. But the market's always scared about something, right? Because it's emotional. It doesn't mean it won't happen or will happen, or even if there's something, else that could happen. It just means that people are obviously, again, driven by emotion mostly, right? And the government, yeah, people worried about the government selling off their little bit of Bitcoin they have. I say a little bit like it's nothing. I wish I had that much, but anyway. Let me see here. So CLSK was another great one we were talking about. You guys might remember. Let me kind of pull it up here. Haven't looked at it. Let me see. right there. There we go. So again, Saul, or I'm sorry, CLSK looking good. Ultimately, we got a wave 3 up here at 61.30 and then a wave 503 up here at 104.50. Locally here, I mean, this looks pretty clearly like a third wave. You got a gap up. You got large volume. Of course, that was when the earnings happened. Remember, we were talking about it down here before the earnings. So kind of like uni, you know, we were in before the rally, right? But that looks like, this looks like a 1, 2, and a 3, and we're working on 4 here. So that 3, almost the 2618. Remember earlier when I talked to you about, you know, our wave 3 targets and how you look at the 1618, then the 2.0, then the 2618, 3618, whatnot. Well, here we are, right? And so, let's see here. We got a 38.2 pullback, ABC, support at the R2 pivot. I think we pop from here. I think we go higher. And so based on this, 2261, based on the height of wave 4 of that fourth wave there, would be where I'd be looking. Around 2261. And once you do that, you get a pullback. Pullback here, right? At least 50%. You just use your initial target, which gets us right around the wave 4, which is what we usually look for. So potentially $14.53 area. I'm kind of set this up the right way. So yeah, if we can get rejected, and by the way, you'll notice that's the R5 pivot here on the daily as well, right? The 2261 is that area right there. So again, I'd look for then a pullback at least to $14 and kind of 56-cent area. Beyond that, if it kept going, we'd look at 1264, which is the 61.8. If we're hitting 70 and a half here at 1123, I think we do the full 78.6 and fill in the gap completely at 992. But my expectation again would be the pullback to maybe this $14.60 area. So that gets you a 1 and a 2, and you get a 3, which means this 3 and this 5 of 3 are all going to overextend higher, right? Because if we get a 1 and a 2 like this, that gives us 5 waves up here at 183. So all of a sudden, this wave 3, instead of 61, becomes 183, which means this 5 of 3 is probably closer to around 200. You can see where this kind of gets us up here beyond that all-time high, right? By the way, these are just local counts here. This is 1, 2 right here. It's got a large, it's all part of that larger 3. So a lot of real big potential on that, left on that. Sometimes it's hard to imagine, especially right now. You're like, what? No way. The economy's looking like trash. The numbers look so bad. Inflation's rallying again. There's no way. We're going to go into a recession. But see, again, that's just being emotional, right? Just take it step by step along the way there. Just take it step by step along the way. Man, look at this structure here. This, just a quick glance at this and the price action and volume here. This to me looks like selling climax, automatic rally, secondary test, rallies up, comes back down. Last point of support, rallying up here. So, you know, again, this movement with this wave 3 or that higher target up there makes a lot of sense because you're looking for a big candle, big volume, push through this resistance here, this creek. So you get, what you end up having here is you have this distribution into accumulation here for rallying higher. Well, I guess actually be like this. Kind of your buying climax down into your automatic reaction here, up here into this up thrust. Last point of supply, fall through the creek, your rejection, mark down into selling climax down here. But that volume, this looks like a big accumulation range. So that's accumulation here. We're not even finished with it yet. 1,431 days, guys. 1,431 days. Back over here since March of 20, since the COVID low. That's insane, right? But it is what it is. Pretty deep pullback, 85.4. Well, yeah. So again, I think this becomes a big candle, or this is the monthly, so a big monthly candle, a big spike of volume coming through it to do the jump across the creek here is what I think we get with that. That volume really kicking in, right? Yeah. Volume really kicking in. So what you're noticing is you get to this last point of support here. Let me just kind of stop here. As you get this last point of support here, and you're rallying up, and your candle spreads are starting to get bigger, right? And your volume expansion as you're doing it. This is what a trend looks like. Overall, it's not every other candle is going to get bigger, but overall, your candle spreads there are getting bigger, and your volume is expanding at the same time. If it's happening to the downside, it's the same thing to the downside, but that's what a trend actually looks like, guys. For those of you that don't know it, that's what a trend looks like. Your candle spreads are gradually getting bigger while your volume expands at the same time. Again, whether that's bigger to the downside or bigger upside, doesn't matter. If you got a downtrend or uptrend, that's how you identify, a trend, strong trend there. So, but I've got to get out of here, guys. I'm sorry, I've got to get out a little bit early today. Next week, Fiboswani's supposed to be with me, so hopefully you guys will show up for that. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, follow me wherever you happen to be. I'd appreciate it. Love to hear from you. Leave a comment. Don't be a jerk. I always say don't be a jerk, and somebody acts like a jerk, and then I got to block them because ain't nobody got time for that nonsense, right? If your mama didn't teach you no manners, don't expect me to. I'm just going to get rid of you. I ain't got time for you. You're nothing in my eyes, right? But if you legit don't agree with me, that's cool. Tell me why. I get into a discussion with it about you. Maybe you'll see something that I didn't notice, or maybe you see it in a different way, and I go, oh, okay, yeah, maybe. Or maybe I give you something and go, hey, listen, look at this, look at this, look at this. And then you go, oh, yeah, okay. Or maybe we just both end up not agreeing, and that's fine too, right? There's a lot of people, guys. I got a lot of friends, on Twitter and whatnot, traders that I don't necessarily agree with a lot of times. Does not change the way I feel about them. So hopefully you guys are the same way, right? And of course, as I said, a little bit later today, guys, you'll be able to get into our group coaching. We're going to add 2 new plans. We're going to do a 3-month and a 6-month. So along with our annual, of course. So if you've been looking to get in and maybe didn't have quite enough funds, or maybe you weren't too sure about joining, you're looking for a shorter time period, it's coming, guys. So be sure to check that out, right? Man, oh man, you guys are wonderful. Thank you always for showing up. I appreciate you guys. Adam overall should continue up higher, I think. Yeah, so. But you know what? Just remember, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose, okay? It's how much you lose. That's it. So no matter what else we're talking about or whatever you're learning, risk management is the #1 most important thing you're going to do day in and day out every single day as a trader. So what does that mean? That means most of your time should go toward perfecting that. I still work on it today. Okay, guys? Diego, no worries, buddy. Well, the recording will be up there, all right? All right. Hey, listen, you guys have a great day. Y'all trade safe. A great weekend even. And hopefully we'll see some of you new guys in TWC this weekend. We'd love to see you, welcome you in. Jump in on the hot takes that I've put out here this last week that haven't taken off just yet. And get in, make money right away, right? And then learn. All right, guys. Y'all have a great weekend, and I will see you either in social media somewhere at TWC, or I'll see you next Friday over here, okay? Take care.